Thanks for visiting Buff Zone. I'm Kyle Ringo. This is Neill Woelk. We cover the University of Colorado football team for the Daily Camera newspaper. Neill, wow.
Kyle, I don't think both of us have ever been so wrong about one thing in our lives. That was just incredible. Talking about Sunday night's 23-17 loss to Colorado State. If you saw the game, heard about it, you know that 23-17 was nearly not as indicator of the score as it could have been. But
I guess it's the Ringo kiss of death working again, Neill. I mean, I picked the Buffs to win, and so naturally they lost.
Well, as they say, you say Ringo and I say Rongo, but this time both of us were wrong, I guess. I think we can move on from that game other than to say there are a lot of problems to fix. They got Toledo coming up here in a couple of days. They're coming up on Friday night. What happens in Toledo?
I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. We do know that Cody Hawkins is going to be the starting quarterback. We know that he's going to be the starting quarterback the rest of the year unless he gets injured. They've decided to try and allow Tyler Hansen to redshirt this year. And Dan Hawkins today at his press conference said that, if things go south, if Cody is just not getting the job done, then they're going to, go back and take a look at that situation and see if Tyler can come in and, play 8, 9, 10 games or whatever it is and maybe get things back on the right track. So it's not written in stone that Tyler Hansen is going to redshirt. And, if there are times in games where they need to go away from Cody or whatever because he's injured or needs a breather or something, then, maybe one of those true freshmen comes in and spells him so that Tyler can keep his red shirt that way too. But a thing that the Buffs are going to have to get done at Toledo, I think, is they're going to have to get the ball in Darrell Scott's hand more on offense. I mean, you recruited this guy, a couple years ago, nation's top tailback recruit, and he's not getting the ball in the Colorado offense for 13 games now. And a lot of that last year was injury, but he got one carry, the opening offensive play of the game on Sunday against Colorado State. Got another pass thrown to him, and then he was basically the missing man in the offense the rest of the time.
Kyle, how about Brian Lockridge? I mean, this is a kid that carried the ball one time, went 9 yards for a touchdown, showed some great speed around the corner, and he had one carry. I would just like to see anybody run the ball a couple of times, get some rhythm, get some momentum, and get the running game going. We saw Demetrius Summer again. Love the kid, good kid, hard worker, but Demetrius is limited in what he can do as far as breaking open a game. And I think you've got to get a Darrell Scott in there or a Lockridge, get somebody that will get in there and break, make a game-breaking type of thing with the ball in his hands as the running back and go from there.
It's interesting to me. A couple of years ago, during a conversation we had with Dan Hawkins, he said in talking about his running game, his ideal running game, that he would like to get to the point where he had one running back getting 15, 20 carries a game, another running back getting 10 to 15, another guy getting 5 to 10. And it seems like he has the perfect backfield for that to happen now. And I think that ought to be the case now, but it just doesn't seem like they're giving the running game enough of a chance here. And granted, it's just one game. CSU got up by a bunch, and they had to go away from the running game a little bit, but I still feel like they could have stuck with it a little bit more than they did against CSU.
Kyle, they panicked. They got down 14-0 and thought they had to throw the ball. They didn't have to throw the ball again. They didn't have to throw the ball then. They could have still run it. They could have got back in the game, eaten up some clock, gotten some momentum going, but that game is in the past. What they do have to do now is start running the football, get that offense back on track. I think they have I still think they have the potential to do that, but all of a sudden that clock is ticking in a great big hurry now to get things rolling. I mean, Toledo, they moved the ball against Purdue. And so this has got to be a big turnaround week for them. And I don't want to say make or break a season, but if they lose this game, you're talking about a season going so far south, you're going to be seeing Penguins.
Yeah, people are going to be fired up if that happens. I tend to think that it won't happen. I think this team is going to bounce back. Toledo is going to be a tough challenge, though. I mean, 2 Big 12 teams have gone in there, and 2 Big 12 teams have gone out of there losers. And, Toledo went to Michigan last year and won a game there. It's a veteran Toledo team. They've got a veteran quarterback. They've got a couple of wide receivers who are strong athletes, made a lot of plays against Purdue. and they got a very aggressive defense that likes to blitz a lot, show you a lot of looks. So it's going to be a challenge for Cody Hawkins to see what he needs to see and get the ball thrown when he is passing.
Yeah, but I do think Colorado wins this game. I thought they'd win last week, but I do think Colorado wins this game. I think it's a little closer than I would have anticipated maybe a couple of weeks ago, but I'll take Colorado in this game somewhere in the line of 36-20.
You know, I'm not even going to predict the score, man.
Oh, come on.
I'm not.
Oh, come on.
You know what? It's enough for me right now. I feel like the other night I'm sitting there writing about this game. You know, everybody's cleared out of the stadiums. It's like me and the sprinklers, and I'm sitting there going, I don't know that I can pick the Buffs again this season. They got to prove something to me, but I am picking them. I'm just not going to pick a score.
All right. Well, I guess we'll see you next week, and things get a little bit more fun when Wyoming comes to town.
Ooh, the Cowboys.
The folks.